What is happening, Magnus? So, now they believe that he acted alone. First, they were saying that they believe it was like maybe 4 people, including a woman. And now they're saying they believed he acted alone. I even saw some headlines saying that they think he was radicalized by ISIS. Okay.
It's a major new information now from New Orleans. Fox News confirms the FBI no longer believes that there are other suspects involved in the New Orleans terror attack. They are
I find that interesting.
still asking people to send in tips on Shamsuddin Jabbar. Meantime, Washington is on alert with several high-profile events this month. The nation's capital is tightening security for former President Carter's funeral next week, as well as President-elect Trump's inauguration. Let's bring in Tim Spees, retired senior special agent for the Secret Service.
First, I was going to say, why would they be at his funeral? But a lot of people will be there. A lot of probably current politicians will be there. So that makes sense.
Thank you for joining us this morning. And you've had an opportunity to react first to this news that it appears that the suspect in this horrific vehicle ramming acted alone. Your thoughts?
Yes, he probably did. Usually when there's others involved, there's a trail of breadcrumbs, as we say, that would most likely lead back to those individuals.
It's crazy. There was a video of him online just talking, normal guy. I can't remember if he was in real estate or something like that. And I was like, seems completely normal to me. It's funny how somebody you just never think sometimes just by how they talk, how they act, everything, would do something like this.
You know, initially, Alethea Duncan, the FBI special agent in charge, had said they were looking at a range of suspects, that they initially did not believe that he was solely responsible. Now they've conducted a great many interviews and they've combed his residence, that sort of thing. Why the dramatic shift? What do you think possibly led them to believe there could be other suspects involved? And of course, now they have so much more information.
Well, I think for starters, when an event like this happens, a lot of people think, especially law enforcement, they always want to cover all their bases and they want to make sure that they have everybody in the picture. What I mean by that is there could be planners, there could be people that handle logistics. They may only pick him to do one thing, and that is to do the event. So they're always backtracking and always trying to find any leads or anything that ties into that. In this case, though, with this person being a former Army military personnel, I tend to think that he was very independent. He knew what he had to do for himself, and he knew how to do it. So therefore, I also think too that someone like this doesn't want to involve more people because then there's the chance of leaks.
That's a great point. You know, now we have the Sugar Bowl slated to happen tonight. Can people heading to that event feel a little bit of a sense of relief that there are not a great many suspects or a manhunt underway right now?
If I didn't already have a ticket, I wouldn't be getting a ticket. I know that if it was me. I'm just like, people just want to start acting the hell up. We don't know if it's going to increase, decrease. I'm like, I watch it on TV. Whatever it is, you know what I mean? I watch it on TV. No matter what event it is, I ain't going nowhere with a bunch of people.
I believe so. What you have to remember is that when an event happens like this, they solely pick one event because they know they're only going to get one chance. If that chance fails, well then, just like now, everything is heightened.
Right.
So therefore, it reduces their chance to be successful on a second and third event. If a second and third event does happen, it's most likely going to have within minutes or hours right after the first one. So the fact that the state, the local, and now the federal have a chance to rebuild, make a more robust security perimeter for tonight's football game, I think that diminishes the chances of another perpetrator trying to, make a large event tragic.
Yeah, we are concerned about copycats in the coming weeks and months ahead. This isn't the only profile ahead. We mentioned the presidential inauguration right around the corner. Do you have concerns about that? And how can law enforcement prevent a similar attack?
But everything should be heightened now, so should nothing happen at these major events, especially the inauguration.
Well, I can tell you from experience, I've been to 3 inaugurations myself, GW,
3?
Bush 2, and the second Obama. The inauguration is an event that happens every 4 years. It's repeated. There's an SOP that we have. We've been doing it for how many years? Many, many years. The only thing that they'll do is they'll tweak and they'll adjust according to current events as such now with the truck. But I can tell you from my experience, we already have those areas covered. If anything, they'll just be more vigilant and observant for our perimeters, because basically it's your perimeter that...
Absolutely. Tim Spies, thank you very much. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. I know a lot of people will be there for the inauguration. A beautiful
Sound like she cut him off, didn't it?
4 years, a special occasion. We appreciate your insight.
Okay. Well, there we have it on that. So now he has possibly worked alone. Well, I guess we'll be getting more and more, stuff about it.
And so with that,
let me take a look at this. This is saying it was all premeditated too.
And so with that, I would like to turn it over to Christopher Rea, who is the Deputy Assistant Director of the FBI's Counter Terrorism Division. Chris.
Thank you, Governor Landry. Good morning. I am FBI's Deputy Assistant Director, Christopher Rea, from our Counterterrorism Division at headquarters. I'm also joined by Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Alethea Duncan, from our New Orleans office, who you heard from yesterday. I'm here to discuss not only the latest investigative information we have here in New Orleans, but I'll also let you know about other investigative activities outside of the state. I first, and most importantly, want to send our deepest condolences to the victims of this horrific attack and their loved ones. 14 innocent victims were killed in this senseless attack, and at least 35 were injured. We cannot ease the grief people in this community and across the nation are feeling at this time. But rest assured, we stand with you and in support of all the resources, and I'm going to go into that a little bit later. All the resources of the FBI are being focused on tracking down every piece of evidence, every lead, every interview, every potential lead we've got. While I won't be able to answer all your questions today, my goal is
keep finding myself looking at the sign language lady.
To be as forthcoming as possible with you on what we've uncovered so far. First and foremost, let me be very clear about this point. This was an act of terrorism. It was premeditated and an evil act. This was obviously a critical incident, and with that, lots of information and tips come pouring in from law enforcement, first responders, and the public. We have been aggressively running down these tips and information. As you all know, that takes time, and we will continue to do so until every lead has been followed through on. This investigation is only a little more than 24 hours old. So I ask you to keep in mind that as I go through some of the specifics later. But at this point, currently, and this is another fact I want to be clear on, we do not assess at this point that anyone else involved in this attack except for Shamsuddin Jabbar, the subject you've already been briefed on. A little bit about what the FBI is doing. So we are surging people and assets to the area from across the region and across the nation. Special agents in multiple field offices across the country have been deployed and are assisting with potential aspects of this investigation and following up on every lead. Additional teams of special agents, professional staff, and victim specialists continue to arrive to provide more investigative power and assistance to the victims and their families. We've also forward deployed a number of our critical incident response group assets, including All right, I'm gonna leave it right here on this. So he acted alone. It's premeditated act of terror. I need to find some more details. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you think.